The Lenovo ThinkPad T470. To some, it's just an old corporate computer, but to others, it's the last of the truly modular T-series laptops Lenovo ever made. And we're not just going to do a review of this, we are going to take it down to its bare components, taking everything out of this and reassembling the entire thing. Really looking at how modular was this device at its core. Could you replace every single component? But before we take this apart, what are we working with? At the heart of this machine, we have an Intel i5-7300U vPro. This is a Kaby Lake dual-core 4-thread chip that goes up to 3.5 gigahertz. And while most of these units shipped with 16 gigabytes of RAM, it was compatible with up to 32 gigabytes of DDR4. And unlike a lot of modern laptops, both memory slots are replaceable. And the casing of this machine is just amazing. The lid is a glass fiber reinforced plastic, and the base and underside of the chassis is a mixture of a magnesium alloy and polyphenylene sulfide, which is an extremely heat-resistant plastic, very similar to ceramics in its thermal resistance. This device clearly was built to take a drop, but can it actually be repaired? Opening up the device, we can see one of Lenovo's amazing ThinkPad keyboards, which are still some of my favorite ones used on any device. We have our glass trackpad, our touch point, fingerprint reader, we have our power button, a surprisingly vibrant touchscreen display, our webcam and microphones. Along the right side of our device, we have our audio connector, our USB 3.0, HDMI, another USB 3, our Ethernet port, an SD card reader, and our security lock. And along the left side, we have our power connector, another USB 3, USB-C Thunderbolt 3, our exhaust vent, and a smart card reader slot, though this device does not have one. Along the bottom, we can see our first battery. Yes, this device has two, and that first one is removable. We can see our docking station connector, drainage holes for the keyboards because this was a sealed device where liquid could pass through it, our speaker vents, and underneath the battery tray, there is even a micro SIM card slot, though we do not have a WAN card on this device. As with any device repair, we are going to start along the back and we're going to remove this battery. The original configuration was a 24 watt-hour battery along the back, which was flush mounted with the casing, though you could go all the way up to a 72 watt-hour battery like this one. To remove the battery, you will take these two locking clips, slide them towards the outside of the casing, and pop the battery out of place. Then we are going to start by removing all of the casing screws that are exposed here along the bottom. And one thing I'm really glad we can say about this laptop is every single screw uses a Phillips head, so you can use the same tool throughout the entirety of this repair. Once you've removed all the screws, you'll start here in the battery compartment, prying up this part of the casing and then flexing this case all the way around the edges to remove it from the device. And here we will get our first view inside the ThinkPad T470. Here we can see our 2.5-inch bay, both of our RAM slots, which are both removable DIMMs, our Wi-Fi card, our WAN slot, our internal 24-watt battery, CPU cooler, and our CMOS battery. Before we begin anything, we are going to remove our internal battery so that all the circuitry stays protected. To disconnect it, you can use your fingernails or a little pry tool, and then you'll remove these two screws and lift the battery up and out of place. If you are doing any internal repairs to this device where you're not going to be removing this battery, I do recommend turning it off in your BIOS settings. Moving on, this is our 2.5-inch drive caddy. This device did not come with a hard drive because it was recycled, but we will add one in before we put this back together. Here we have our SATA 3 connecting bridge cable, which has a tiny little retention bar on it that we lift up to remove the cable. There was a specialized NVMe slot caddy for this device, but we do not have one of those. Next, we'll remove our RAM, pushing down the two clips on either side of the DIMM and removing it from the slot. This CPU supported up to 32 gigabytes of DDR4, but only at 2133 megatransfers per second. Next, our Wi-Fi card, where we will remove both of the antennas, pull out the retention screw, and lift the entire module out of place and set it to the side. Then our CMOS battery, which has this tiny little clip which we can just pull and remove. And then it is time to remove our CPU cooler, which will start by pulling this tiny little power connector right here and then undoing the screws on the CPU heat spreader itself. And you may notice this heat pipe is actually extremely small for a business grade laptop. And this i5-7300U was extremely power efficient for its time, where it had just enough power to get mainstream tasks done, but not too much power that you would have terrible battery life. And after removing all 4 screws, we can lift the entire cooling module up and off of the motherboard and do remember when we're going back in here to replace your thermal compound. Then we are going to remove our dual 2-watt speakers, which are in vibration resistant housings. We'll undo both of the mounting screws on each of the speakers, unplug the power connector, and then pull the cable traces out of the chassis. Then we'll begin to undo some of the ribbon cables on this board. Then it is time to begin removing all of the Phillips screws that are holding this motherboard in place. And we're going to go around the outside, tracing this motherboard, and then we'll do a pattern on the inside, making sure we get every screw holding this in place. Then we'll flip the device over, pop out our keyboard, and remove those 2 ribbon cables, which are the final holds for our motherboard. Then the entire motherboard can come up and out of the chassis, and set this to the side and make sure that you set it with the CPU die facing up so you don't damage it. Now we're going to remove that touchpad, so we're going to undo this 1 ribbon cable right here. We're going to undo the screws that are holding this touchpad in place, and then the entire glass trackpad can come out of the chassis, and you could swap in a new one if you wanted. Now it's time to remove the fingerprint reader, so we're going to remove the 1 screw on this retaining clip, peel out this ribbon cable, slide the entire metal housing out of place, and we can pop out the entire fingerprint module. Moving on, we'll remove our power button module with attached ribbon cable that does not come off. Then we'll remove the placeholder card, which is where our smart card reader would be if this had the module attached. And then it's time to remove the screws holding these hinges in place so we can really get into that display. We'll make sure that all of our display cables and antenna traces are all moved out of the way so we can properly remove the bottom chassis. For this display, you could replace the entire top lid if you wanted. You could buy the entire module, or you can disassemble it and replace individual components like the panel, though it is more risky. The entire front bezel of this panel is held on with adhesive, which you can slowly pry up using a carve tool, or you can heat it up with something like a hairdryer to slowly release that adhesive. If you bought a repair kit, it would have additional adhesive strips, though there is typically enough left over where you can just reapply it. Then we'll undo some of the bracket screws and peel off that mid-layer bezel. Be careful of the plastic clips on here, you don't want to break them. Then we can remove the screws from the 2 metal stabilizers in here that give your screen that rigidity, and we are ready to remove the entire panel. The panel options for this model included a touch and a non-touch variant, so if you had one and wanted the other, you could swap them out. And then we can finally remove those 2 supporting brackets that are along the sides. And that is as far as repairability goes on this lid. We can remove the antennas, camera, and microphone modules, but doing so will damage them, and I don't have replacements for this unit right now. We will start the reassembly by putting in those support brackets, laying our panel back in place, and securing everything with screws. Then we'll remount our cabling through the hinge covers and secure those hinges back to the top lid. Then we'll install that medium layer to our bezel and make sure everything clips into place. Then we will take our external adhesive layer of the bezel, which for us still has just enough adhesive to be reapplied. Then we'll reattach the base chassis of this machine, slotting in those hinges, making sure not to pinch any cables, and bending the hinges down so we can secure them with screws. Then we can reinstall our power button module, which we'll secure with screws, making sure that ribbon cable lays back where it is supposed to. Then we can reinstall our fingerprint module, put the metal cover over top, and secure it with its screw. Then we'll add back in our smart card reader placeholder, securing it with screws, and then we'll open our device, slot in our touchpad, go to the other side, secure it with screws, and reattach the ribbon cable. And I should have done this earlier, we're going to reattach the fingerprint reader cable as well. And from here, we will reinstall or replace our motherboard. This configuration did come out with a 6th generation and 7th generation chipset, so you could swap to the next generation if you wanted. And when you're placing this in here, just be careful not to pinch any of these antenna cables because it can be difficult to get everything in here just right. Next, we'll install our port covers, which just add extra strength to the various ports on your device, and we'll secure those with screws. Now we'll replace our speakers, retuck their cables, and attach it back to the motherboard. Then we'll reattach the rest of our ribbon cables and connectors, tuck our antennas back into their channels, and get ready to secure the motherboard. We'll put all of our various screws back in place surrounding this motherboard. We'll clean off the CPU die and reapply some new thermal paste. Then we will reseat our heat spreader, cooling pipe, and fan, secure the screws in place, and reconnect the power cable. Next, we will spend a good amount of time getting all of our antenna cable traces just right before reinstalling our upgradable networking. Don't forget to reattach your Wi-Fi antennas to the right cable traces and secure with a screw. To reseat both of our 8GB memory modules, we're going to peel back these heat covers and click both modules into place, making sure the notch lines up. And now we'll reinstall our internal 24-watt battery. This was actually the last product line Lenovo made that kept the dual battery setup, where you had your internal battery so you could hot swap your external removable battery. I still don't really understand why they went to internal batteries only. I'm assuming for cost, but I really wish that this was something that continued to this day. Now we'll reseat our CMOS battery by clicking in this tiny power connector, and we reconnect our SATA storage connector and install this 128GB SATA III SSD into the caddy. And we're ready to put our lid right back on this device and secure it with our screws. Now we can reinstall our keyboard. We will open the device, we'll open our ribbon cable slots, seat those cables back in place, and snap this keyboard back into the housing. Then for our finishing piece, we will take our battery, we will line up the notches, and we will seat it back into place of this laptop. Now we will plug our Lenovo T470 back into power. We will turn it back on to make sure everything is working properly, and we can see we go right back into BIOS. We did not break a thing. Let me know if you have any questions about this wonderful laptop or how to repair it, and what you think our next device should be that we break down in this detail. Thank you for watching.